Hello, everybody out there on YouTube's Gun channels and Facebook. I'm Mike. This is The Right of the People, where we use the first to defend the second. Want to say hello to everybody out there in the chat. You've been waiting for a little bit. I'm glad to see that you're here with us. And say hello to my esteemed panel. As always, we have Kingpin with us. How you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me, and happy birthday, Mad Sexy.
All right. Then we have the irascible yet lovable Squibload. How are you, sir?
Hey, good evening, everybody. Everybody out there, just, be ready for a good show, and thanks for having me, Budget.
Hey, no problem, man. Now, for those of you who pay attention, you may notice a new face here on The Right of the People. We have Rob Pincus, renowned trainer, author, and Second Amendment personality. Rob, thanks for joining us. What brings you here tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come in and talk to you guys about, obviously the big, what we're referring to as the elephant in the room this week here at Gun Rights Policy Conference. I just got out to Arizona today for the first day, which is kind of a warm-up day for Gun Rights Policy Conference. Tomorrow is the main day, and then there'll still be a lot of speakers going on Sunday. Today was the alternative mass media conference for gun media, gun influencers, gun YouTubers, bloggers, writers, things like that. And tomorrow morning, I've been asked to speak about the elephant in the room issue within the firearms community, which obviously is the crisis at the NRA. And for me, the real big issue is the way the leadership at the NRA is dealing with or not dealing with the problems, both internally for the gun community and the external optics that represent all American gun owners.
That's right. What do you guys see? I know that you're involved with Save the Second. And what do you see as the biggest issue that we have with the NRA, and what the number one thing that needs to be done with that they can do to help correct this problem?
Well, the number one thing, going back to April, right, when we stood up several of us stood up at the members meeting and made a plea for transparency, a plea for honesty, for integrity, for some disclosure. Maybe some admission of guilt, the problems that were going on. We know Oliver North called for that internally. Now all of those documents are public. People have sort of seen the dirty laundry aired. We've seen a lot of the allegations made against the current leadership of the NRA and their allies or their cronies or their friends, and the kind of mismanagement, financial malfeasance that's gone on for quite a long time. Now this has been rumored, it's been talked about, it's sort of been known that things weren't all peachy keen at the top of the NRA, and then certainly in the back rooms of the NRA for a long time. And people like Jeff Knox have written about it and talked about it for a long time. I've been talking about it for many years. And it really all came to a head this year at the NRA annual meeting, at the members meeting. And unfortunately, our plea for transparency, our call for some accountability at the top of the NRA has not only not been heeded or not been listened to, it really hasn't even been respected. And unfortunately, after the experience that I and other members had at the NRA board meeting last week, I have to say that more than transparency, if you were to open all the books right now and bring everything out, have an independent audit for the things that can't be shared, the legal strategies, things like that, I get it. Have a third party independent auditor go through, not the superficial or the books balanced audit, which obviously gets done every year,
Sure.
but really go through with a fine tooth comb and find out where the problems are. We're going to find out that quite obviously the problem lies in leadership. It lies in accountability. And that's why Save the Second has initiated several different methods for members, for concerned American gun owners to get involved, contacting the directors, letting them know what's going on. Obviously, we don't think that the NRA right now can be trusted with the mantle of responsibility for the American gun owner, for the fight for our Second Amendment rights, and much less with our membership money and our donations. They've shown that they can't handle that the way the average American gun owner wants it to be handled.
So, speaking of the fight for our Second Amendment rights, and that the NRA right now either can't be trusted to do it, is unwilling to do it, is too concerned with their fight with Ackerman McQueen, there's a group of Second Amendment activists who've gotten together and are organizing a rally on in Washington, D.C. on November 2nd. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the rally for our 2A rights, Second Amendment rally at the Capitol building, November 2nd, it's going to be the opportunity to remind not only people outside of the gun world, but I think this next 6 weeks is a buildup for that, is a time for us to remind everyone that we, you and I, and Squibload and Kingpin, and everybody listening to this, and everybody who's going to listen to it in the recording version, if you own a gun, you are the gun lobby. The gun lobby in America is American gun owners. We are the face, we are the voice, from the grassroots up to the votes for the White House, and the White House votes obviously influence the Supreme Court, and obviously the votes that we cast for our legislators as well. We are the people that should be advocating for our rights. And what's really sunk in over the last few months is that far too many of us, far too many people have been willing to write a check or give the credit card over to an organization, whether it's, in most cases it's the NRA, but whatever organization it is, and say, okay, I've done my part, I can move on. And maybe, there's a group of people that show up in the comments section. There's a group of people that show up for this or show up for that. But, today, I saw all the people that showed up in big cities all over the planet of Earth to express their concerns about the climate. They're worried about climate change and pollution, things like that. I get it. I want Earth to be healthy. I want there to be a healthy Earth for my young daughter and for my granddaughter. I get all that. But last week in Virginia, amidst not only the crisis that's happening internally inside of the NRA, but also amidst a very obvious attack from the anti-gunners, the pro-gun control movement, there were very, very, very few of the 5 million NRA members present at the board meeting. So, I'm hoping that this Second Amendment rally that's going to happen in Washington, D.C. at the U.S. Capitol on November 2nd is an opportunity for people to remind themselves that it takes more than just writing a check. It takes more than just showing up in the comment sections. And maybe, while nothing will change on November 2nd, maybe having 10,000 people, 15,000 people standing on the Capitol steps, on the Capitol grounds, listening to some of the most active leaders, the most active advocates inside of the Second Amendment community for a few hours on a Saturday afternoon. Hopefully it's a nice weather, beautiful mid-Atlantic region fall weather that we get. I think that will be an opportunity for everybody to remember that we are the gun lobby. Yep. We are the ones who exercise these rights. We're the ones who benefit from these rights. The Second Amendment expressly protects the rights of the individual. The individual needs to get involved, and the Second Amendment rally is an opportunity to do that.
That sounds a lot like some points that I made at the rally we had last on the 7th here in Columbus, protesting red flag laws. And part of what I talked about was the fact that, somebody else isn't going to sign petitions. Somebody else isn't going to get up and make phone calls, sign letters, write letters, send emails, stand up and rally. You got to do it. And that's exactly, it sounds like that's exactly what this is about. So I know that I'm going to be one of the people there. I'm going to go and make sure I cover this and bring it to everybody who can't go. So I encourage everybody out there who's listening to this, either live or on the replay, if you're within driving distance, get to DC on the 2nd if you can. Help support this effort.
Yeah, and you can. We are wanting people to register. Obviously, the DC police, the Capitol Police, they want to make sure that they kind of know what's going on. We have all kinds of rules and obligations we have with the permit for the rally. The people that are involved in the rally, there is no sponsorship for the rally, by the way. There is no brought to you by. There's no organization. There's no company. It is people who care about the Second Amendment that are funding this. But we want people to register. We want people to commit to being there, to show the support, to justify the time, effort, and energy that everyone in the background is going through, and certainly to justify the effort that the speakers, the people that will actually be sharing their thoughts and, again, rallying the crowd, sharing the thoughts that we think represent the average thoughts of the American gun owner that day. So head over to secondamendmentrally.com. You can find 2A Rally on Instagram, and you can find Rally for Your 2A Rights on Facebook also. So leave us a comment, follow us, share it, make sure people get the word out. I really appreciate you. This is actually the first media appearance that I've done, as far as I know, that any of the organizers have done related to the Second Amendment rally on November 2nd. So I appreciate you inviting me out to talk about it, Mike. I think it's really important. We are at a time right now, again, where we've got the issues with the NRA, we've got the issues with the pro-gun control movement and the anti-gunners coming after us. We've got a big election coming up next year. We need to remind the nation, we need to remind ourselves that we are the Second Amendment lobby, and that's why the Second Amendment rally is important.
Absolutely right. Thank you very much. I know you're real busy out there at the Gun Rights Policy Conference, so I thank you very much for coming out and spending this few minutes with us. Really means a lot. So there you go, everybody.
Yeah,
Rob Pincus.
Thank
Make
you.
sure that if you can support this rally, support it in any way that you can. Spread the word. Get out there. If you're going, take people with you. Let's make as large an impression on the Congress critters and elected representatives as we possibly can. Thanks a lot, Rob.
Rob,
Thanks, guys.
Rob, on the website, is there information about parking, and is there information letting people know? I'm guessing in Washington D.C. you can't open carry like at most of the rallies.
Open carry is not legal. Obviously, there are some people who can legally carry there. Obviously, as far as we're concerned, the organizers, the event, if you can legally carry, please exercise your rights responsibly. But part of the responsibility we have is to make sure that you are legal coming into DC, coming out of DC, and at the event. So it's not meant to be civil disobedience. It's not meant to be strap your AR over your rifle and let's see what they do. That's not what we're after. We just want to show the faces of American gun owners and share the thoughts of American gun owners amongst each other, and especially with all the people that will be listening if we get a 5-figure number worth of people out there on that Saturday in November. So thank you for that also. But yeah, there's information there about how to get there, and the parking and all that can be found through the website. Once you register, you'll be on our email list, and we'll be sending out updates for specifically, what time, where, all of that. But it's going to be 3 hours, 1 to 4 p.m., November 2nd, 2019.
All right. Thanks a lot, Rob. I put the link
Thank
to
you.
that out there in the chat, folks. And, make sure you check it out.